WrestleMania is officially in the books. And today I'm going to be reviewing night one. And then I'm going to put out a video also reviewing night two. I had to give these things a couple days to kind of settle down so I could really gather my thoughts about it. But we're going to get into this. My name is TJ, and this is Unleashed Wrestling. Welcome back, wrestling fans. WrestleMania is officially in the books. And to be honest with you, it was very underwhelming. And I'm going to get out this video for night one. And then I'm going to also put out a video for night two. I'm going to do two separate videos because honestly, there's a lot to talk about. And if I put it all together in one video, it would be a super long video. So I don't want to do that. I want to break them down. So this video is going to be night one. And then we'll do a night two video also. So the opening match was Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this was the match that I was actually kind of looking forward to. But to be honest with you, the match really wasn't anything special about the match. I mean, it went as expected. Gunther was dominant for a while, and then Jey, of course, came back, and it's kind of a back and forth type match. And the puzzling part to me, the whole thing, I mean, the whole night, with the exception of the main event, was just off. The whole night seemed off. And the one thing that kind of really stood out to me about about this match was Gunther tapped out. Why would you book Gunther, who's been a pretty dominant champion with both the Intercontinental and the World Heavyweight Championship, but you book him to tap out in like 5 seconds? Like, I understand you want to make Jey Uso look good and make him look strong, but this is Gunther. There's no reason for Gunther to tap out. It would have made more sense for Jey to hit a super kick and a splash off the top rope and pin him than to have him tap out in 5 seconds. Why? Why? It didn't make any sense to me. And then to top it all off, at the end when Jey won, he didn't even really celebrate. Like, I remember when he won the Intercontinental title, he was happy. He was celebrating. He was eating with the crowd. He was doing all these things, and we didn't really get that Saturday night. We got a Jey Uso who was kind of somber in the ring, like he was not really happy that he won. I'm sure he is happy, you know. But Jimmy comes down to the ring afterwards and congratulates him and hugs him. And Jimmy was holding up the title. He was more excited for Jey than Jey was. Like, why? I, I don't know. I didn't get it. Honestly, there's a lot of people saying that match should have been the main event. It should not have been the main event. The way that match went down, it was at the right spot on the card. It opened the show. We saw a title change hands, and we thought that was going to set the tone for the rest of the night. But even then, like I said, that match it just seemed off. Something seemed off about that match, and I'm not sure what it was. What do we do? Like, it was not very entertaining to me at all. It really wasn't, and that's no offense to Jey and no offense to Gunther. A lot of it had to do with booking, and the thing is, they really stepped their game up the past few weeks, building this match up. So going into the match, I thought we were gonna get one hell of a match, and instead we got a mediocre match. Why? Why? I said it in a video a couple weeks ago. Not every single match at WrestleMania is going to be a 5-star match. Nobody's expecting that. But we expect good quality matches throughout the entire show. And we didn't get that. But it doesn't stop there. But I will say this. I did go back and watch the match, and my opinion did change a little bit. It wasn't as bad as I initially thought. But it still wasn't great. If I had to rate the match, and I'm not going to do this with every single match on the card. I'm not. But giving the match a grade, I'd give it a B minus. Again, it was just my expectations were here for it, and the match was here, and that's just again. I'm not trying to be critical, I don't want y'all to think that I'm hating on the match because I wasn't. It was a good match, but it wasn't a great match, and it wasn't what I was expecting. It was the outcome I was expecting, but it wasn't what I was expecting in the match. I honestly was expecting some sort of interference, and then Jimmy come down and help Jay and get his revenge and his retaliation against Gunther, helping Jay win the match. But I see why they didn't do that because Jay won it by himself. He didn't need help, and it makes him look like a stronger champion. I get that. But I just wish we would have gotten a little bit more out of that match. So then we get the World Tag Team Championship between the Viking Raiders and the New Day. And this was a match that I was actually looking forward to because of what I thought may happen. But what I thought would happen and what we actually got were completely different things. Right? Again, I picked the New Day to win. You can go back and watch my night one prediction show. I picked the New Day to win. But I thought there was going to be some sort of interference again from Big E. Now, Big E may not be cleared. I get it. If he's not cleared, okay, I understand why he didn't book it. But the match was dull. Like, the match was really dull. And this was the WWE's chance to really make the New Day stand out as a tag team. Ever since their heel turn, they haven't been very relevant. You know, they could have booked something, whether even if it wasn't an interference, they could have booked something to make the New Day look like these dastardly heels. And we didn't even really get that. We got a match, the New Day wins, and they leave. Like, that's it. Yeah, they cheated at the end because Xavier was holding down the leg of Ivar when Kofi pinned him. They got the 1, 2, 3, and they get out of the ring and they take off to the back quickly, like they had just stolen something. I mean, I guess technically they stole the championship because they cheated to win, which that was a cool thing to see. You know, at least they did something heelish. But I wasn't impressed. You know, and I was watching this. I was watching night one. I went home for the weekend because I'm not in town. I'm away for school. But I went home this past weekend, and Saturday night I watched it with my cousin, and he was there with me, and you know, it was like probably night. It was probably match two. I'm sorry, it was probably night. It was probably match like 3 or 4 at this point. And I looked at him and said, "Are we watching Raw?" So that's what it felt like. It felt like we were watching just some random weekly episode of Raw, and not WrestleMania. Like it was dead, and you can tell by the crowd. Go back and watch it. The crowd was not really into this at all. By match 3, they were dead. They were out of it. They were ready for the night to be over with. If you were there, let me know what it was like. I want to know what the crowd reactions were like there live compared to what we saw on TV. Because what we saw on TV was borderline boring. It's borderline boring. But I was at least expecting some entertainment matches. And the first 2 matches were mediocre at best. I didn't get the heel New Day that I was hoping we would get. I'm hoping that the WWE uses this to elevate them to that heel level that they need to be. Maybe we'll see something tonight on Raw. I don't know. Then we get Jade Cargill versus Naomi, which was another match I was looking forward to because there's so much of this story left to be told. Right? Again, Jade won, which she should have. I was expecting Jade to win. Naomi made Jade look like a superstar in that match. And I'm loving this heel version of Naomi. I really am. I didn't get what a lot of people were expecting, and I'll get into that in night 2. But I do think that this was the better match of the first 3 that we saw. And the build up to this match was good. It could have been better. But when you have 13, 14 matches for WrestleMania and you have to promote every single match, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles there. But overall, I thought it was a good match. The chemistry was there between the two, which was great. The in-ring chemistry was fantastic. Naomi was great. Jade was great. Nothing too bad to say about this match other than I kind of felt like I wish it would have went just a little bit longer than what it did. Because the first 5 matches up to the Charlotte match seemed to be pretty quick. But I get why they did it because when you go and watch the main event, you'll see why the rest of the matches were shorter. Because they needed to fit that time in for the main event because we got something at the end that I'm gonna talk about that was incredible. It was incredible. But overall, I give Naomi and Jay Cargill a B plus because I thought it was a good match, and I think Naomi did a great job of playing the heel. She did a great job of making Jade look good. She did a good job making herself look good. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. I was glad to see that they did not book Jacob Fatu to squash LA Knight because I think LA Knight's better than that. And I think LA Knight's talent level is underrated. He's fantastic on the mic. He's a good in ring worker. And there's not really a lot bad for me to say about this match. Jacob Fatu has been incredible. He has been incredible. They've done a great job building him up to be this dominating, just menace to everybody. And I was glad to see finally we get a match that was worth watching because I had tweeted after the Jade and Naomi match. I said, are we watching Raw? What are you doing, WWE? Pick it up. So that's how I felt. But when we get to this match, it got a little bit better. It got a little bit better. I was glad to see Jacob and LA Knight put on a good match. I was glad to see I was glad to see WWE book Jacob to win because they picked the right person to win because now Jacob's going to be this massive superstar and he's going to have a dominating US title run. And whoever they pick to take the title off of Jacob Fatu, it better make sense. And they better be somebody that's believable that could take the title off of Jacob Fatu. The build-up wasn't all that great, so I wasn't expecting a great match, but we ended up getting a better match than what I expected. So I'm not going to complain too much about this match. It just didn't fully hit. But congratulations to Jacob Fatu for winning your first title in the WWE. You're going to do great things. LA Knight, you're going to do great things. I'm sure they're going to push him into the main event picture here soon. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. And then we get Ray Phoenix versus El Grande Americano. They had put out at the pre-show that Ray Mysterio suffered an injury and was being replaced by Ray Phoenix. I posted a TikTok video about this. You can go and look at our TikTok channel that we put at the bottom and then opening the show. This match was okay. Ray Phoenix is phenomenal. And Chad Gable, I'm sorry, El Grande Americano is incredible. But there wasn't a lot of chemistry there. And you could tell that there wasn't a lot of chemistry there. They had prepared for Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, and then we replaced it with Rey Fenix in the last second. You can tell that neither one of them had time to prepare for the match. So there's some off points and there are some high points. Rey Fenix has been in the WWE, just a couple months, maybe. He's had 3 matches and he's in WrestleMania. I mean, that's not a bad thing. They didn't initially plan on putting him in WrestleMania. I feel like some of these matches they could have saved for Raw, for the Raw after Mania or SmackDown after Mania, because that's kind of the quality of matches we got. Right? The story was Rey Mysterio versus Chad El Grande Americano, even though we know who it is. But the story was it was those two. And they had built up a pretty good storyline. Chad Gable leaving to go to Mexico to learn the secret art of lucha libre wrestling. He comes back. All of a sudden, El Grande Americano debuts. I felt like they were building to a storyline to not culminate at WrestleMania, but they're building to a storyline that's going to culminate maybe at SummerSlam too, where they have a mask versus mask match. And I feel that's when El Grande Americano it will be unmasked and revealed that it's said superstar under the mask. There wasn't a lot of chemistry between these two, and you can tell it. But they made the best for what they had. You can't help injuries, and I get that. You can't. They can't. You can't. But again, when you're thrown into a match last minute, there's not much time, if any time, to prepare. So for what the match was worth, for what we ended up getting, it was a solid match. Now this match, I was shocked about. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. I had it pegged. I was adamant about Charlotte Flair winning this match because just the way they had built her up, right? Like she comes back, wins the Royal Rumble her first night back, challenges Tiffany Stratton, and they have a week build up until that promo a couple weeks ago when they both got in trouble because they went off script. Charlotte Flair will be a Hall of Famer one day. And that's nothing out of the ordinary for people to say. It is what it is. One thing I do want to say is kudos to Charlotte Flair for actually putting Tiffany Stratton over. For all the people that have said that she's just like Hulk Hogan and will not put people over, you got proven wrong because Charlotte Flair put Tiffany over Saturday night. And I gained a lot of respect for Charlotte Flair for doing that. I was very impressed, shocked at the outcome, but I was very impressed with Charlotte. The match had some botches, and a lot of the botches looked like they were on Charlotte and not on Tiffany. Um, but at the end, Tiffany does she hits the prettiest moonsault ever, pins Charlotte, she gets the win. But Tiffany's mouth was busted open. I don't know if y'all saw this, and it looked like she had chipped her tooth. I haven't heard anything else on this, so I'm hoping that she's okay. I mean, it's just a chipped tooth; they can fix it pretty quickly. But I haven't heard anything else on this. Hopefully, maybe one of y'all, maybe y'all have, and you can let me know down below what the status is. But overall, I was not disappointed with the outcome of this match. I was actually quite shocked that Tiffany got the victory, but I'm very glad that Tiffany got the victory. Congratulations, Tiffany, for retaining your WWE Women's Championship. And now to the main event, the match that saved night one, because up until this point, I was giving night one a D, C minus maybe. But this match saved the night. And that was the main event, the triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. The match was intense from the moment the bell rang. Before I get into the match, I do want to say it was really awesome to see CM Punk and Paul Heyman coming to the ring together, and CM Punk doing a throwback, wearing the hoodie and the yellow tights. Classic CM Punk. That's what he wore that when he was with Paul Heyman, when he was a Paul Heyman guy. So that kind of throwback was really cool to see, and I was excited about this match. I've been excited about. I was excited about this match before it started. The build up to it was probably the best build up of the entire card of both nights. This match had the most build up, the most hype behind it, and this match lived up to its expectations. It was phenomenal. I went back and actually watched this match last night, and there's some great spots in this match, but two spots. I'm sorry, there are two spots that really stood out to me, and one was Roman went for a spear, and Seth Rollins countered it into a pedigree. Great, I loved to see that. It was awesome. Not a big Seth Rollins fan, but I got to give him his props on that. It was phenomenal. It's a phenomenal counter. And then the spot when CM Punk hit a GTS on Seth Rollins, Roman hits a spear on Punk, Rollins hits a curb stomp to Roman Reigns, and they're all down on the ring. That was perfectly executed, and it really just added so much intensity to the match. I mean, there were several near falls from all three. There's one point I thought Roman Reigns was going to win the match. At one point I thought Seth Rollins was going to win the match, and then at one point I thought CM Punk was going to win the match. And I initially picked CM Punk to win this match. I cannot say enough about this match. 5-star match, in my opinion. You can say what you will. I thought it was a phenomenal match. But the biggest talking point about this match was the finish. And before I get into the finish, I will say that the finishes of night one were horrible. A lot of them didn't make sense. I had talked about Jay and Gunther. Why Gunther tapped is beyond me. I don't understand that booking. I don't understand a lot of the finishes that they had. I figured there would have been more exciting finishes than what we got. But they saved the best finish for the last match of the night. At one point, all three men were down the ring. And this may have been, in fact, it was. This was when that spot I just talked about with the GTS spear and curb stomp all kind of simultaneously. They're all down the ring. Paul Heyman goes and grabs a chair, and Punk and Reigns are both looking at him. And Roman's calling for the chair, and Paul Heyman shakes his head no and gives the chair to CM Punk. CM Punk gets the chair, starts walking towards Roman Reigns, and the whole time Paul Heyman's pushing him on the back, right? Like go, 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 do it. Well, Punk went to go hit Roman Reigns with a chair, and Paul Heyman gives a low blow to CM Punk, knocking him down. So at this point, Paul Heyman is on his knees from when he delivered the low blow to CM Punk, picks up the chair and crawls over to Roman Reigns and gives him the chair and says, "You are my tribal chief. You are my tribal chief." So then Roman Reigns gets up and starts hitting CM Punk with a chair, and Paul Heyman is yelling at Punk saying, "This is your fault. You did this. You did this." Trying to put all the blame on CM Punk for this whole mix-up between Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Paul Heyman, like the big triangle we got. So then Seth Rollins was kind of leaning against the ropes, and Paul Heyman was like, "Look, it's the Shield. It's your moment. It's the Shield." Because remember, not once, but twice, Seth Rollins has hit Roman Reigns in the back, and they refer back to the Shield. The first time was when he initially turned heel when he joined the Authority, and then the second time was last week on Raw when Seth Rollins did it again, and the commentary team kept talking about the Shield. Roman Reigns walks toward Seth Rollins, and as he goes to swing the chair, Paul Heyman gives another low blow to Roman Reigns. Roman falls down. Seth's standing with his back turned, and he's got this look of, "Look what I just did. Look what I just did." He had that look on his face. Again, the crowd went nuts. So Paul Heyman hands the chair to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins hits Roman Reigns in the back with a chair, goes against the ropes, delivers a curb stomp, pins Roman Reigns, 1, 2, 3, match is over, Seth Rollins wins. Now, I predicted CM Punk to win the match, but I also said that Paul Heyman was going to turn and join Seth Rollins. However, I thought, for whatever reason, that they would save the turn until after the match, just to give it one more twist. I was hoping CM Punk was going to win the match, and then that's when Seth Rollins came in and attacked him, and then Paul Heyman turned on both of them then. But the way they wrote it was perfect. Like the way they executed that was perfect. And the sad thing is, I knew it was going to happen, and it made me mad. I was like legit mad because of what happened. Even though I knew it was coming, I was mad. I can't help it. It's one of those things. That's the beautiful thing about pro wrestling is it makes you're so passionate about it, and when you see things that you don't like, you're going to voice your opinion. But the match ended with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins standing on the ramp. Paul Heyman raising Seth Rollins' hand. Seth Rollins turns around. Paul Heyman's behind him with the evil grin on his face, and Seth Rollins is raising his hand. So what's going to happen tonight on Raw? I don't know. Like I'm kind of hoping Raw opens with a promo by Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman explaining why he did this. But the question is this feud over? Or is this feud going to continue for the next few months between Roman and Seth and then Roman and Punk? But one thing I want to point out, Seth Rollins did not pin CM Punk. He pinned Roman Reigns. So up to this point, Seth Rollins has still not pinned or beaten CM Punk. And CM Punk made that very clear that Roman nor Seth Rollins could beat him one-on-one. And as of right now, it still hasn't happened. And I can't wait. I can't wait for Raw tonight because they've got to step it up. It's got to be better than what we got night one, and especially what we got night two, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. And I want to thank everybody for watching this video. It's been a crazy weekend. WrestleMania did not live up to the hype for some people. Some people said it was the best WrestleMania ever. That's your opinion. What do you think? I don't think it was the best one ever. There's some high points. There were some low points. But what are your thoughts on this? Comment down below, let me know. And I will see y'all in my night 2 review and our Raw After Mania review.